Once, in the depths of a dense forest, a cursed cave was hidden, where, according to legend, harpies lived, bloodthirsty creatures with a female torso and bird paws and wings. Their appearance was so creepy that anyone who dared to venture into these thickets became goosebumps with horror. One day, a harpy named Alina came out of the cave to satisfy her thirst with blood and fear. She had a view of the picturesque city, where residents, unaware of the threat, led their daily lives. Meanwhile, a young Stanislav lived in the city, flaunting his courage and curiosity. He always dreamed of overcoming real dangers and discovering the secrets that were hidden in the world. One day he heard unusual stories from an old man who seemed to have a deep knowledge of local legends. Stanislav decided to go to the forest to find out the truth about these harpies. Deeper into the forest, he felt fear flood him with every step. The silence seemed to break into a loud howl, the voice of blood. But his curiosity wouldn't let him stop. Suddenly, from behind the trees, he saw the first harpy, Alina. Fear gripped him. But instead of the fear and despair that O'Neilly had created before his eyes, the lion got closer and said to the harpy, "I want to know your story. I don't believe in evil." Just like that, surprise flashed in Alina's eyes. This is the very first person who did not scream, did not run in terror, but showed interest in her as a being. "My story," she whispered in a contrite voice. "I wasn't always the way you see me now either. I was once an ordinary girl who lived in this city, but fate decreed otherwise." At this point, the story is interrupted, and it becomes clear that Alina is hiding secrets that can change all Stanislav's ideas about harpies. Then their paths intersect. The atmosphere is addictive and filled with betrayal, romance, and dangers. Stanislav delved into the story of Alina about how she turned into such a terrible entity. It turned out that Alina, along with other girls, was abducted by the harpies themselves to perform dark rituals. These rituals invoked ancient demons who gave the harpies supernatural abilities, but in return required sacrifices and the creation of new harpies. Stanislav was shocked by this information and resolutely decided to help Alina escape from the curse. They started an epic battle with the harpies who tried to stop them. During this battle, Alina and Stanislav discovered an ancient shrine capable of breaking the curse of the harpies. They risked their lives fighting bloodthirsty creatures to get this shrine and free Alina from the curse. Finally, at the limit of exhaustion, they reached the shrine and unleashed a magical ritual. Energy surged around them, then a blinding flash lit up the forest, and the curse was broken. Alina became a human again, but she was incredibly relieved. However, while they were rejoicing over the victory, they did not notice that the destruction of the curse had consequences. The forces of darkness that were caused by the harpies began to make their way into our world. Stanislav and Alina realized that their task is not yet complete, and they have to fight the demons to save the city and stop their destructive invasion. And so, with renewed determination, Alina and Stanislav embark on a new adventure, not only to protect others from terrible creatures, but also to uncover the secret hidden behind the appearance of harpies and their connection with the demonic world. Waking up from the shock, Alina and Stanislav realized that they were in a completely different reality. The dark sky overhead twinkled with strange stars, and the air was filled with piercing screams. It turns out that the destruction of the curse has led them to the demon world, where harpies serve a being known as the Chaos Master. The creature of the Chaos Lord was absolutely ruthless and full of malicious intentions. It was going to use the power of harpies and demons to seize control of all the worlds. Alina and Stanislav realized that they were the chosen ones, the only ones who could stop the chaos and restore balance to the world. They had to gather an army of allies and fight against the formidable forces of chaos. They set off on a journey through the lands where various creatures, enemies of chaos, are scattered, and began to gather an army. During their journey, they were intrigued by the legend of the Amulet of the Abyss, an ancient relic, which, they say, is able to plunge the Chaos Lord and all his minions back into the bowels of hell. Along with their brave ally, Ariadne, a former harpy who decided to renounce evil, Alina and Stanislav overcame many challenges, physical and emotional. They strengthened their morale and found new strength to cope with those who stood in their way. Finally, having gathered an army of allies, they entered into battle with the Chaos Queen. The battle was ruthless and deadly. Their armies collided rapidly. Swords and claws flashed. Flames and magic flashed in the air. Stanislav personally fought with the Chaos Mistress, clutching the Amulet of the Abyss with one hand. Everything in the world seemed against them, however. Their strength of faith and friendship fought together to defeat the universal evil. The fate of all the worlds hung in the balance, and only time will tell on which side the scales will outweigh. But Alina, Stanislav, and their army had an unquenchable desire for victory and the restoration of peace. The battle with the Chaos Queen lasted for several days and nights, turning into a crushing battle. Alina and Stanislav struggled with endless waves of demons and harpies that attacked them with anger and fury. At the same time, the allied army confronted the soulless and brutal forces of chaos with relentless force and determination. Forgetting about her fear and pain, Alina struggled, picking up sword after sword, urging her forward with her noble heart. Her energy and light resisted the terror of the Chaos Owner. Stanislav very deftly controlled the Amulet of the Abyss. His connection with it gave him the strength and wisdom necessary to resist the chaos of the universe. He foresaw his actions and found weaknesses, using them to his advantage. During the battle, Ariadne suddenly found herself in mortal danger. She was fighting with her former brothers, trying to give Alina and Stanislav an opportunity to get closer to the Chaos of Leditsa. They penetrated into the heart of the battle, where the bright light of the Abyss Amulet illuminated their path. Finally, Alina and Stanislav reached the Chaos of Leditsa. Their powers merged together when Stanislav's sword pierced the body of the Chaos Mistress, and Alina kindled the fire of her magic. The creature screamed in pain and rage, trying to fight to the last. But it was already too late. Its strength was fading. Ariadne, who survived the battle with her former brothers, joined Alina and Stanislav. Together they held the Amulet of the Abyss, which was the key to the defeat of the Chaos Queen. They raised it above their heads and focused all their will on using it. Suddenly, the light from the amulet began to grow and spread, eclipsing the demons and harpies, absorbing them into its energy stream. The restoration of peace began when the Chaos Lord was plunged back into the bowels of hell. The worlds that were in danger felt relieved and grateful. Alina, Stanislav, and Ariadne became heroes who saved everything from destruction. Their names became a legend, and their exploits were passed down from generation to generation. But at the same time, everyone knew that the battle they had fought was just the beginning. There are many more worlds where malice and chaos have penetrated, and where help is needed. Alina, Stanislav, and Ariadne returned to their mission to explore and free other worlds from dark forces. Their army of allies continued to grow, and their desire for peace and justice never disappeared. Alina, Stanislav, and Ariadne continued their search and struggle with the dark forces. Their strength and determination did not run out. They traveled through the worlds, freeing them from the chaos of the people, and restoring peace and justice. Gradually, thanks to their efforts, light and goodness began to return to every world. darkness and evil melted away. People and beings who got lost in the power of chaos have found hope and faith in the future. Over time, Alina, Stanislav, and Ariadne became symbols of hope and inspiration for many. Their names began to be passed on by peoples as legendary saviors. They carried light and goodness, guarding the worlds and maintaining a balance between light and darkness. But the most important thing was that the three heroes found not only victory over chaos, but also their place in this new world. Alina became a wise and strong leader, leading the union of worlds. Stanislav became the guardian of peace and knowledge, and Ariadne became a symbol of transformation and rebirth. So the story of the Harpies, demons, and the universe they guard ended in this epic battle. The dark past was replaced by a brighter future, where the worlds flourished and flourish thanks to the joint efforts and strength of the soul of those who believe in peace and goodness.